Every year, hundreds of millions of people grip their armrests, hold their breath, or grip the person next to them when an aircraft starts to shake. The feeling is visceral. The assumption is that something is wrong. The reality is almost always the opposite of what passengers imagine is happening, and understanding the actual physics makes it clear why. Start with the most persistent misconception. When an aircraft hits turbulence, passengers feel the plane drop, sometimes dramatically. The mental image this creates is of the aircraft falling through a hole in the air, losing altitude, and only barely recovering. This is not what is happening. What passengers feel as a drop is the aircraft encountering a region of descending air, a downdraft, and the aircraft's wings momentarily generating less lift because the air they are moving through has shifted. The aircraft does not fall. It may dip. The difference in altitude over a turbulence encounter is typically measured in tens of feet, not hundreds. The sensation of dropping is real. The actual vertical displacement is almost always trivial. Understanding this distinction matters because it separates the subjective experience from the engineering reality. The aircraft is built around the knowledge that turbulence exists. Every commercial aircraft in service was tested to structural loads far beyond anything encountered in normal or even severe turbulence. The G-force limits built into commercial airframes are not close calls. They are deliberately extreme, designed with margins that the atmosphere almost never approaches. Turbulence is disordered air movement. The atmosphere at any given altitude is not a smooth, uniform medium. It is constantly in motion, structured by temperature gradients, pressure differences, wind shear, terrain features, and the heat of the Earth's surface. When an aircraft moves through regions where these forces create rapid, unpredictable changes in airflow, the result is turbulence. The physics underlying it are the same as what happens when you stir water and create eddies, or when wind moves around a building and produces chaotic gusts on the other side. The atmosphere is a fluid, subject to the same fluid dynamics as any other. What makes aviation turbulence complex is scale. A single turbulence cell might be seconds wide at cruise speed. A region of sustained turbulence can stretch for hundreds of miles, and critically, the most significant form of turbulence is completely invisible. Clear air turbulence is turbulence that occurs in cloud-free air, most commonly associated with the jet stream. The jet stream is a high-altitude river of fast-moving air that circles the globe at typical cruise altitudes. Its boundaries are not smooth. Where fast-moving jet stream air meets the slower air masses on either side, the velocity differential creates shear, which produces the characteristic waves and eddies of clear air turbulence. You cannot see it. Radar does not detect it because there is no precipitation for the radar to reflect off. There are no clouds to indicate that anything unusual is happening. The aircraft enters the zone, and the air is suddenly disorganized. The jet stream position is predictable in rough terms, but not in precise terms. It shifts with season, with weather patterns, with temperature differentials in the upper atmosphere. Pilots and dispatchers use forecast models to anticipate where clear air turbulence is likely and route around it where possible. Sometimes that is not possible. Sometimes the forecast is wrong. Clear air turbulence is the primary reason the fasten seatbelt sign exists, and the reason flight attendants are instructed to be seated during cruise without warning. Clear air turbulence accounts for a large share of encounters, but not all of them. Convective turbulence is associated with thunderstorm activity. Cumulonimbus clouds, the towering storm cells that can reach 40,000 feet, contain powerful updrafts and downdrafts capable of producing severe and extreme turbulence. Commercial pilots route around these, sometimes by hundreds of miles. The onboard radar shows precipitation, which reliably indicates the storm cell, allowing diversions before the turbulence zone is entered. Mountain wave turbulence occurs when wind flows over high terrain and creates oscillating waves of disturbed air that can extend far downwind of the mountains themselves, sometimes at cruise altitude with no visible connection to the ground below. Wake turbulence is a different category entirely. It is created not by the atmosphere but by other aircraft. Every large aircraft leaves behind two counter-rotating vortices trailing from its wingtips. These vortices are powerful, slow to dissipate, and capable of rolling a smaller following aircraft. Separation standards at airports exist specifically to let wake turbulence dissipate before the next aircraft passes through the same airspace. Turbulence is reported on a scale from light to extreme. Light turbulence produces minor rhythmic bumpiness. Occupants may feel a slight strain against their seatbelts. Moderate turbulence feels more intense but controllable. Objects in the cabin may move. Occupants feel definite strains against seatbelts. Severe turbulence produces large and abrupt changes in attitude and altitude. Passengers without seatbelts may be thrown violently around the cabin. The aircraft may feel momentarily out of control, though it is not. Extreme turbulence is rare and can cause structural damage. It is encountered almost exclusively inside thunderstorms and, historically, near severe weather systems. Most turbulence that passengers describe as terrifying is moderate by the measured standard. Severe turbulence injuries do occur, but they are almost exclusively sustained by passengers who were not wearing their seatbelts when the encounter happened. The injuries come from people being thrown against overhead bins, the ceiling, or the floor. The aircraft itself is almost always fine. Commercial aircraft are certified to withstand load factors well beyond anything the atmosphere normally produces. The structural testing an aircraft goes through before certification includes applying loads to the airframe that would exceed what could be encountered in flight. Wing flex tests, which are often filmed and widely shared, show wings bending to angles that look catastrophically wrong to anyone who has not seen the structural analysis behind them. The wings are designed to flex precisely because rigid structures fail and fatigue more quickly than flexible ones. A rigid wing would crack. A flexible wing absorbs the load and returns to its original shape. The control systems are also designed around turbulence. In severe encounters, the autopilot is sometimes switched to a turbulence mode that reduces the aggressiveness of corrections, allowing the aircraft to move with the air rather than fighting it. This seems counterintuitive, but a rigid fight against severe turbulence would produce higher structural loads than a controlled accommodation of the movement. Turbulence forecasting has improved significantly in recent decades but remains imperfect, particularly for clear air turbulence. Weather services produce turbulence forecasts based on atmospheric models that predict wind shear, jet stream position, and convective activity. These forecasts are updated regularly and used in flight planning to route around known or predicted turbulence. In flight, the most valuable source of real-time information is other aircraft. Pilots file turbulence reports, known as PIREPs, through controllers. A PIREP indicating moderate or severe turbulence at a specific altitude and location will cause following aircraft to either divert, change altitude, or at minimum notify passengers to fasten their seatbelts. Newer aircraft are capable of automated turbulence reporting, sending real-time data directly from accelerometers to ground systems without requiring the pilot to make a radio call. This creates a continuous, updated picture of atmospheric conditions across a region, improving the accuracy of turbulence information for all aircraft in the area. Fear of turbulence is completely understandable. The sensations are physically unpleasant, the environment is unfamiliar, and the passenger has no control. Those conditions are exactly what the human nervous system is designed to flag as dangerous. The fear response is doing exactly what it should do when someone is in a moving environment they cannot see, cannot control, and cannot immediately exit. What the fear gets wrong is the magnitude of the threat. The aircraft is not at risk. The engineering margins are not close. The reason turbulence injuries happen is not that turbulence can damage the aircraft. It is that the human body, unrestrained, is physically unable to handle the same loads the aircraft can. The solution is not to not fly. The solution is to wear the seatbelt and wear it continuously, not only when the sign is on. The sign is reactive. Turbulence, particularly clear air turbulence, has no warning. If the seatbelt is already fastened, the encounter becomes a rough few minutes. If it is not, the encounter can put someone in hospital. The next significant improvement in turbulence management will likely come from two directions. The first is better forecasting. Atmospheric models continue to improve in resolution and accuracy. Machine learning approaches are now being applied to turbulence prediction, identifying patterns in historical data that correlate with encounters and improving forecast lead time. The second direction is real-time detection. LiDAR technology can detect atmospheric density variations ahead of the aircraft, giving potentially 30 seconds or more of warning before an encounter. That is enough time to alert cabin crew and passengers. Current LiDAR systems are expensive and still in development for commercial aviation, but the technology exists and the physics support it. A future in which turbulence encounters are reliably predicted and passengers have genuine advance warning before the seatbelt sign comes on is not a distant idea. It is an engineering and regulatory timeline. So the next time an aircraft shakes and everyone reaches for something to hold, consider what is actually happening. The air is disorganized. The aircraft is doing exactly what it was designed to do. The engineers who built it knew this moment would come and accounted for it with margins you will never come close to. The machine is fine. The most useful thing a passenger can do is fasten their seatbelt, keep it fastened, and let the aircraft and the atmosphere work out their differences without any help from you.